Happy Friday and welcome to Steelers Live at 4 p.m. Everybody, let's get a look at the Steelers status report for Sunday against the Saints. 2 names on this list. James Conner has been ruled out. This will be the 3rd straight game he has missed, and listed as questionable today is wide receiver JuJu Smith-Schuster. Joining me now to talk about all things status report and much more is Bob Labriola and Labs. Okay, so we know James Conner's not out. Last week, it was maybe an iffy situation if he would play against the Patriots. Of course, we know he did not. But JuJu, limited in practice on Thursday. Today, not practicing at all. I know you live in your fears, even though my sweater's probably making you happy. What do you think about Sunday for 19?
I really think that the category in which he finds himself today is quite literal. I think that it is a questionable situation. Groin injury, you just really never know. I mean, I believe that JuJu is going to do anything possible to get himself on the field, and I think that the Steelers also are looking at it in a way that he is a very integral part of what they want to do on Sunday, and so I think every effort is going to be made to get him out on the field. It just remains to be seen how the groin responds to whatever treatment they're using. And again, I mean, we talked about this yesterday a little bit here on this set with regard to James Conner's ankle, the turf. It's turf at the Superdome. I don't know how old the turf is, but turf is also something that often can exacerbate these kinds of soft tissue injuries. And that's why really I wasn't real optimistic about James Conner this week, but when the week started, Mike Tomlin seemed to think that there was some legitimate optimism. That quickly fizzled, I think, and so we'll have to see what happens with JuJu. But we're talking about the names on the list. What really has me in a good mood is the names that aren't: Cam Hayward, Ben Roethlisberger, Terrell Edmunds. I mean, these are guys who either were on the list last week or sustained some sort of injury against the Patriots. Terrell Edmunds obviously has cleared the concussion protocol. Cam Hayward hyperextended his knee against New England, but neither one of them are on the injury report, and both were full participants today and I believe yesterday as well. And so, all hands on deck to go against Drew Brees.
All right. We know James Conner is out again for the 3rd straight game, so that means next man up for Jaylen Samuels. Here's part of my FaceTime interview with him from earlier this week.
We were just executing. Everybody was executing, not just me, but the O-line. The O-line played a huge part in, my run success. So, they was getting on their guys, blocking, and I was also setting up, the blocks and making guys miss. So that was a huge, reason why we won.
We still don't know James Conner's status yet, when he can return. So do you prepare this week as you're the starter just to kind of push through the week?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, early in the season when I wasn't getting playing time, I was still preparing the same way, as if I was starting. Because, you never know what can happen throughout the game. And, I don't know James, status for this week, how he's feeling. He's feeling better, but, I'm still prepared the same way as I was last week.
All right, so Labs, I sat down with him on Wednesday, and at that point we did not know what was going to happen with James Conner. But yes, it's going to be next man up, and a big difference for Jaylen Samuels in that Oakland game compared to what we saw against the Patriots.
Yeah, and from talking to Mike Tomlin about Jaylen Samuels, and really you can throw James Washington in the same category. Against New England, these 2 guys, both rookies, really stepped up and contributed to the team in a significant way, and it was really kind of the first for both of them. I mean, Jaylen Samuels was very honest about the fact that he had never had 19 carries for 142 yards rushing in a game, even all the way back to high school. And James Washington really stepped up and made some of the kinds of plays that we had seen from him going all the way back to Latrobe. But neither one had been that effective and productive in a regular season game, and we got to see that from them last week against the Patriots. And Mike Tomlin said that he could see in practice, we always talk about his arrow is pointed up, and sometimes we kid around about it, but to Mike Tomlin, that's a very literal thing, and it's something that he says that he and the other coaches can see on a daily basis from a lot of these individual guys at practice. And really, for both of them, I won't say it was expected, but I will say that it was anticipated that both Jaylen Samuels and James Washington were on the verge of something significant. And they delivered against the Patriots. They're going to be looked upon to deliver against the New Orleans Saints as well.
All right, Labs, thanks so much for joining me today. Again, James Conner has been ruled out. JuJu Smith-Schuster is listed as questionable, so we'll have to wait till Sunday to find out if he is active or not. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, Mike Prisuta with your plays to ponder. All right, welcome back, everyone. It is Friday, which means it's time to turn to Mike Prisuta with his plays to ponder for the Saints.
Thanks, Missi. Another week and another monster challenge for the Steelers as they get ready to head down to New Orleans. And believe it or not, this looks like it might be a tougher challenge in New Orleans than beating the Patriots was in Pittsburgh. I know that the Steelers don't have the history of angst against the Saints that they have against the Patriots. So that Patriots thing might have seemed like a big deal, and it was, but this is going to be an even bigger deal. As they say in New Orleans, laissez le bon temps rouler. And as we all know, that's French for, let's take a look at Mikey's plays to ponder for Steelers versus Saints. We'll start you off with Drew Brees. Last week we showed you that Tom Brady is in fact human. Here is Drew Brees revealing the same thing. This is a 2-point conversion in Carolina. The Saints are trying to go up 7. Instead, they find a way to reduce their lead from 5 points to 3 points. Brees, he's the NFL's all-time leader in completions and passing yards. He doesn't get either of those here. You see the rollout. He's got nothing, no look there, nothing open there. Extend the play, throw off your back foot into a crowd, and this is what can happen even with Drew Brees. And then once you get the interception, there's a bunch of big guys on the field chasing a little guy, and that winds up 2 points for Carolina. Drew Brees is in fact fallible. Now let's go to second and third from the Carolina 16 in the fourth quarter. This is Alvin Kamara, a 16-yard touchdown run. This guy's got 860 yards rushing. He's got 627 yards receiving. That's 1,487 yards from scrimmage. We're still in the regular season. This looks like it's supposed to be an inside zone run, but Carolina gets penetration, and Kamara sees it, bolts to the outside. Watch him scope it out, and then boom, he's gone. Vision, burst, and bring on the extra point team. New Orleans has plenty of offensive weapons. Kamara is one of them, but as we move along now to 2nd and 8 from the Carolina 40 in the fourth quarter, this is Taysom Hill at quarterback. That's a read option, and that is a 17-yard gain. Taysom Hill is a second-year guy, 6'2", 221 pounds, from BYU. And Sean Payton likes to use this guy. He likes to use the read option. There it is right there. You fake to Kamara. He's got a tight end leading, and 17 yards later, they're moving the chains. This isn't just a gimmick. You're going to see Taysom Hill. He's got 34 carries for 185 yards and a touchdown on the season. He's also gone 3 for 6 passing. He's caught a couple of passes. He's been in on 6 tackles on special teams, and he even blocked a punt a couple of weeks ago against Tampa. Number 7 is going to be a factor on Sunday when the Steelers invade the Superdome. 1st and 10 now from the New Orleans 38, and you'll see the Saints doing it the more conventional way. That's play action, and Drew Brees throwing to Michael Thomas, 20-yard gain. Michael Thomas is having an incredible season when you consider that he's got an NFL best 109 catches on 127 targets. Let those numbers sink in for a minute. He's been thrown at 127 times, and it hasn't worked on 18 occasions through 14 games. These guys just destroy zone coverage as they did here. 1,267 receiving yards and 8 touchdown catches for Thomas. Usually when Drew Brees throws it to Michael Thomas, a catch results. Now let's go to a little more gadgetry. 1st and 10 from the Tampa 26 in the fourth quarter. This is Kamara on a 9-yard run, but it's the old jet sweep. He lines up in the slot, comes across the back of the formation, and Drew Brees gives him the ball. The other option here, he can toss it to Mark Ingram. That was Ingram in the backfield. He was available as a pitch left option. Instead, they run the jet sweep right to Kamara. The Saints are using Ingram and Kamara in the backfield, not in the backfield, in the formation at the same time more than they did last year, and they're doing it better than they did it last year. Now let's go to 1st and 10 from the Tampa 44, and there's our guy, number 7, Taysom Hill again, and this is the old read option where he just gives it to Kamara up the middle. Watch the defensive end on the bottom of the screen, 92, Will Golson. He's got quarterback. He's tackling quarterback. He doesn't care if the quarterback has the ball or not, and that's an unblocked guy that the Saints don't have to block because that's the kind of threat that Hill has become on these read options. They can blast it up the gut for 12 yards as well. Last but not least, let's look at a little defense. 3rd and 8 from the Saints 20, and that is number 94, Cam Jordan. The Saints crowd the line of scrimmage with 6 guys. They drop off the linebackers and only rush 4. Jordan's playing a little stand-up end on this play. The tight end tries to chip him. That doesn't work. The offensive tackle tries to block him. That doesn't work. Cam Jordan has 12 sacks. He was a first-team All-Pro last year. New Orleans doesn't even need the holding penalty on this play. Let's take a look at one more Jordan sack. 3rd and 10 from the Tampa 25. This time it's an inside rush. And look at that closing speed. Jameis Winston tries to escape outside, and the relentlessness of Cam Jordan's pretty obvious here. New Orleans is the best team in the NFL at run defense, and the Saints have some issues in the secondary, but they compensate for that by being very good on the pass rush. Number 94, Cam Jordan's going to be a handful on Sunday in New Orleans. The good times are going to be rolling, and we'll see if the Steelers can have as good a time this Sunday against the Saints as they had last Sunday against the Patriots. And those, in French or English, are this week's Prisuta's Plays to Ponder.
All right, thanks as always to Mike Prisuta for joining us on Friday. That's going to do it for this edition of Steelers Live. Thanks so much for joining us. Saints and Steelers on Sunday, 4:25 Eastern. And everybody have a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. We'll see you next week.